out of the box, Jira gives you, at least in the company managed software projects that, I love and only use exclusively. But at least in those, it's one workflow to rule all the work types. So it doesn't matter if you have one work type or 1,000 work types. Out of the box, the moment you add the work types into your project, at least in the company managed software projects, you will get them. They all just like expand, right? Like the list, one workflow expands
Mhm.
out to accommodate for all. And so, really, the question is, because it's multifaceted, but one of the questions is, do we need just one workflow or not?
I
Because,
think it depends, but ideally, the less the better. Less workflows and less workflow steps.
yeah.
The smaller you could keep that number, the better overall.
So here's my take, and here's kind of the guidance that I usually give. The way Jira works with Scrum and Kanban boards, because again, and this is why I love to get your feedback and your input because you live in the other world that I don't play around, right? But the way it works inside of Scrum and Kanban boards is that your story, your task, your bug, basically any level 0 word type,
Mhm.
and your subtasks are visible on the board.
Right.
And what that means is that your level 1, which is typically your epic, is not visible on the board.
Mhm.
But interestingly enough, your level 2s and up are by default visible on the board. So if you're going to start segregating the workflows, like giving your epics a different workflow or your initiatives a different workflow, part of the conversation you need to know is the laws of Jira, right?
Mhm.
Because if you're going to try to have a different workflow between your epic and your story, awesome. That works really well. But if you want to have a different workflow between your bugs and your tasks, then you run into a conflict because they're both visible on the board. And now we got to start getting into the compromises, which is what I kind of want to talk about today.
Mhm. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And I would still default to if you can, let's say you have an epic and an initiative, and if they can have the same workflow, that's probably the most ideal situation. You may
It
need to make
is,
tweaks and changes,
yeah,
but if you
it
can,
is, but
keep them together.
realistically, you're probably not. Like, I
Mhm.
think, my opinion, my best practice is when I come in, your initiative should have a workflow, your
Right.
epic should have a different workflow, your stories, your tasks should have the same workflow, your bugs should have their own workflow, and the subtasks can share the story in the task, or you super streamline it to just to do in progress and done.
Mhm. Ultimately, that's the core of every workflow. It's just
Yeah,
those 3.
just those 3, the to do, to then progress and done. Your
Yep.
story, your task, and your bug should absolutely have a to do in progress and done as well.
Mhm.
And you shouldn't deviate. You shouldn't put a status of like in development versus in progress versus in work. Like you should not contaminate that way
Yep.
because then you're just gonna cause a lot of problems. You're gonna cause a lot of problems for your reporting. You're gonna cause a lot of problems with stacking statuses in your column, and you're
Mhm.
gonna start cause a lot of problems for Robo to know what's in progress. Because Robo's dumb enough to only go look for status equals in progress and will not bring you the in development and in work or something like that.
So let's take the most common scenario and say there's only 3 levels of hierarchy. There's your typical task, your story, your bug, you got your subtask, and then your epic as well, because
Mhm.
that's probably 90%,
Yeah.
if not 99% of people using Jira. What are
So let
the different workflows that you would suggest?
so at that point, I'd still have one for the epic, and let me tell you why. Because the epic is is basically just a container for the stories, which is cool, but there's R&D, research and development, that you should do at the epic level to then create the stories. And I feel like the epic needs
Mhm.
more upfront work and processes than like a story does. Like it always blows my mind that a team's like, well, I need statuses for like my stories for like grooming and refinement and like estimating and all this other stuff. I'm like, you don't like by the time you make a story, there you really shouldn't have to explore too much. Like the story should pretty much be much more well defined. And I think a lot of the research should happen up higher at the epic level.
Mhm.
But how do you normally work?
Well, in the business world, business project side of things, like if it's a marketing, HR team, general task tracking, I would probably still stick to those 3 work hierarchies. You have your subtask, your task, and then maybe one higher than that that bundles some things together.
Yeah.
The suggestion is always like, let's keep it as simple as possible. What I like to do is actually have one workflow for all of them and hide epics from my primary board view of tasks and have like
Yeah.
another
So see,
board
we
for
don't even
just
get the epics anyways.
yeah. So if you're looking at an epic and you want to see the associated work items, like they're all listed there. But if you want to go to a task view of what is actually needing to be accomplished, that's a separate task board
Yeah.
or list, whatever view you want to use.
Right. I
But
think that list
generally, I
because
would
again,
share the workflow.
the epics just don't even. I mean, up until recently, because I think you can force them in there now, but natively for the last 15, 20 years, you would not see epics on the board level. Like they just
Yeah,
don't
and that
really
makes
show up.
sense. Mhm.
With
My
respect
preference,
in Scrum specifically though, Kanban will still show them to you,
yeah.
but that's a whole different conversation. I'm always optimized for Scrum because that's what most of my teams are usually operating out of.
Yeah, no, and that makes sense. Like I do the same exact thing in every project, regardless of development or not, because I want to be able to see the higher level things in one place and then the kind of general task level things in another. So anything epic or higher, sometimes we have initiatives or whatnot, that also goes on a separate view. That way it doesn't muddy the board that you're kind of looking to work out of. Otherwise, it gets
Right.
very confusing. Real quick, I know this looks like a lot, and if you'd rather just have me and my team help implement exactly what I'm showing you in this video, that is exactly what we do. We're currently opening up 4 more slots for our Jira strategy. We only run 4 of these per month. If you're interested, hit the first link in the description below.